So today we will be looking at type 7, which is also known as most what? Like. Now, one thing about type 7 is you may have 2 images on the left. You may have 3 images of the left on the left. You may have 4 images on the left. Sometimes they will even make it more interesting. 5 images inside a tray or a basket or in a circle. And your job will be to pick the one that is most like. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that in the option, they will give you many that are similar to the answer. But no, what you need to do? You need to find the one that is most like. Does that make sense? The most like, which is the one that follows the the ones that follow the greatest number of rules. Resting position, everyone. You're looking for the one that follows the greatest number of what? Of rules. Yeah? If there are 5 rules that you find that they have in common, we're looking for the one that follows either all the 5s or maybe 4 out of 5, whereas some only follows 3, some only follows 4, which means you have to check all the options. What I say you have to check?
All the options.
You have to check all the options. Sometimes, yes, the answer may be wrong, may be glaring. Mariah, move your chair slightly this way. A bit more. Move your chair. I didn't say move your bum, your chair. That's it. You just move your bum. You move the chair. Eh? Or is the chair glued to your backside? All right, that's it. Moving on. If we look at this, we know that what they will have in common are the things that we know from SNS, PGS, RR, TNS. I know Neraya has joined us to remember what those stands for, right? Neraya, do you remember? Neraya? Is Neraya here?
Yeah.
Then respond when I call your name now. You know what those stands for, don't you? The rules of nonverbal radio. Yes, we've gone through it before. The same with you, Nathaniel. We've gone through it more than once with you, Nathaniel, by the way. So you know that. Yeah, it's only those that join us afresh that don't know. Yeah. So, on that note, let's get the party started. How do we solve type 7? What do we do? How do we go about it? That's the question that comes to mind, right? I tell people it is very easy. And why do I say it is very easy? Because all we have to do is follow a few steps. What I say we need to follow?
Follow a few steps.
And as long as you follow them, everything will be well, will be yummy and smooth. So let's write the steps down. Let's write it down quickly, please, and no wasting of time. Yes, Fadila, what is it? What is it, Fadila? Fadila, can you unmute your mic and speak, please? Or should I ignore?
I finished, Uncle.
Okay, thank you. Then read the rule again and try and understand exactly what it says. Let's be
Yes,
quick, those of you that are still writing. Let's be quick, guys. We haven't got forever. Underline the most if you finish, please. Because the question says most like. And as I said earlier, when you hear the word most like, it means there will be some that are what? That sort of like, but most like means the most. The one that is what? That is similar, the most. The one that is what? Like it's the most.
most.
Does that make sense?
Yes, Uncle.
Yes, Uncle.
One more minute, please. Fadila, even if you are not in class, when some work was done, you can watch the video. So what should the teacher do with the fact that you were not there when we did the work?
Yes, Uncle. Watch the video.
Watch the video and do the work.
Yes, Uncle.
Yes, Isaac, that's fine. Nathaniel, yes, what is it?
If we finish writing down the steps, write down the example.
What is it?
If writing down the steps, should we write down the example?
No, my love, no, we're gonna do the examples together. I just want people to finish writing the steps so that they understand the steps. All right, guys, let's quickly do this together. Let's do this together. You have a question? Yes, what's your question? I can hear you. If you're gonna speak, speak loud. Well, it could be what rule, it could be what rules. Does that make sense to you? That's why I just said what rule, because sometimes people might be looking that, oh, maybe it is more than one rule. If it's more than one rule, that's fine. If it's not more than one rule, if it's one rule, that's okay. Do you get? But you need to make sure you find all the rules. Why are you writing now? Resting position, please, everyone. Quick, Zoe. That's for what? That's for similar shapes. Yeah, an analogy. This is a different type. You mix them together, Muriah, and make sure you use the rule. Thank you very much. So let's look at these two. I want everyone to please pay attention. This is resting position. If you look at these two, what do they have in common? Yes, Zoe?
So they're all like checkers. They're like squares, like these
So-
squares.
Do we have checkers in our rules?
No shape.
Thank you. Eh?
Shape.
Shape? Checkers? Inside a shape is shape?
No position.
No, it's not position. It's shading. Zoe, shading. Do you have the same what? Shading. Yes or no?
Yes, Uncle.
If you look, there is nothing else they have in common, is there?
No.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Size, we couldn't say the size because it's not the same shape. We can only compare their size if they are the same shape. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah?
Yes, Uncle.
Because if you think about it, if you start saying, oh, they have the same size, but they're not the same shape, so how can they have the same size? If you start saying position, don't forget that the box outside is just a tray. It is not part of the question. Am I making sense to you?
Dave.
So you cannot
Yes.
say position because of that. So the only thing they have in common is what? Shading. So let's look at our option. Does A have the same shading?
No.
No.
What about B? Does he have the same shading?
No.
No.
What about C? Does he have the same shading?
No.
No.
What about D? Does he have the same shading?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
You open your eyes, Fadila, and not just chorusing it like it's a song. I realize you're not paying attention. I will tell you to stand up and remain standing, Fadila. What about E? Does he have the same? No. So which makes our answer to be what? D. Naomi, yes?
Isn't there silly?
Naomi, I can't hear you. Naomi, are you there? Okay, fine. Let's move on. Fadila, yes?
Naomi said, isn't the symmetry the same?
We can say the symmetry is the same, but we can say they both have vertical symmetry. Am I making sense to you? Yeah? So we could say that as well, symmetry. But D has what? Uncountable symmetry. Is that clear to you? D has uncountable symmetry. Naomi, are you still there? Because on my screen you remain, it looks like your hand is still raised, Naomi. Okay, let's move on. Thank you very much, Fadila, for helping her out.
It's not.
Yeah, I said it looks like. Yeah, because probably your internet lagged out for a minute there. Okay. Do you all understand, please?
Yes, Uncle.
Okay, very good. So we're going to go on and try some examples of what has been what. Okay, let's move on. Now, Naomi, when I say resting position, I mean resting position, not something else, please.
I was
So let's look at what this and this have in common. I want everyone to think about it. Think about it very deeply. What those two have in common. And remember, when you cannot find what they have in common, am I making sense? Look at what the first one has, or look at what the first tree, the things inside the first tree have in common. Am I making sense to you? The first tree might have something in common to everything inside it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And the second tree would have something in common with everything inside it, but the same rule. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's basically saying, Jojo and I, we have something in common. But I'm a different person. Jojo is a different person. Jojo is your favorite friend. He's your best friend, isn't he? Jojo is your best friend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jojo and I, do we look alike? No, I'm bald. Yeah, I've got beards. He hasn't. Right? If you are looking to compare us, you can say, oh, they don't have anything in common. Am I making sense to you? Which is understandable. However, I am a boy. Different boy. Unique boy on his own. He is a boy. Unique boy on his own. I've got two eyes. Our eyes don't look alike. Am I making sense to you? He's got two eyes as well. I've got one big fat nose. Are you laughing?
But I have your nose on.
Why you not flexing your nose when I want to? Fine. What I'm trying to say, in essence, guys, even though, yes, that was to bring in a bit of humor, is that sometimes when you're looking at them as individual, they may not, the two, when you're comparing them, they may not have something in common. But you have to look at the first and look at what that first one has. For everything inside that first one, that is what? That is in common. And use that rule to check for the second one as well. Once you're able to find the rule that each one of them have in common, then what do? Use it to find your answer. Does this make sense to everybody?
No.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to you. Okay, you will see it in the example we're going to do very soon. Okay? So let's look at these two. What do they have in common? The two that we can see on the screen. Do you see those two? What do they have in common?
Is it shading? Because they both have black and white.
It will be number of shading, not just shading. They have two blacks and two white. Does that make sense? But it's not the same position of shading. So if you think about it, it's not really shading. We can say it's shading, but it's not really shading. So you have to be very, very careful. Does that make sense? Yeah? You could say number of shading. Yes, we could say number of shading. Yes, Nathaniel.
Like the reflection of the arrow and the thing, the reflections are facing each other.
So basically, it's reflection. Why? Or someone can also say what? Someone can also say what instead of reflection? Symmetry. Resting position. Symmetry. Why? Because if you look at the one we have on the left, is a reflection of the one we have on the right.
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes, uncle.
Yes or no, guys?
No.
Yes, uncle.
This one.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question? Good. The one we have on the left, if you look, it is a reflection, a mirror of the one we have on the right. Although someone could have said it's because they have two blacks and two whites and two blacks. So anyone that doesn't have two white and two black, I'm going to cancel it. You realize that there is none of them that have two white and two blacks. And what they could even do in the exam is they could trick you to say, oh, there is one that has two white and two black. Am I making sense to you? But does not follow reflection, and you would choose that. You will be wrong because it says most like. If we look at these two, this one has arrow, two arrows and two circles. This one has two what? Two half ring. Am I making sense to you? Or half donut, yeah, and two plus cookies. You realize that they do not have the same shape, do they? No. Some people will say the same size. Don't forget, you never use size if the shapes are not the same. You can only compare size of, for example, if I'm comparing myself to Eden Grace. Eden Grace is a girl, first of all. I'm a boy. We cannot say, well, I'm bigger than Eden Grace. Yes, we know physically, but we can compare Eden Grace and maybe Eden Grace twin sister, if she had a twin sister. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Or we can compare Eden Grace right now, size-wise, using the rule of size, to Eden Grace 2 years ago. We know Eden Grace is taller now, yeah, and she eats more food now. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? So use size if the shapes you're looking at are not exactly the same. And when we talk about position, we usually talk about position relative to another one. So the position, for example, right now I am in class. We cannot just talk about me without talking about where I am relative to other in class. Nathaniel, I believe you're stretched, not raising up your hand because I get confused when I see things like that. So please focus. So let's look at A. Is A reflection of what we, is A symmetrical, or what we have on the left a reflection of what we have on the right for A? No. Because what? D shading at the bottom is not the same. What about B?
No.
What about C?
Yes.
No, yes, you've confused me now.
Yes.
What about D?
No.
What about E?
No.
Which makes the answer?
No. No.
Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, Uncle.
We're gonna do one more together, and then you guys are gonna try your own. So let's look at number 2. What I want everyone to do is look at these two and write the rule that this guy and this guy have in common in your notes, just the rule. Do you understand what I'm about to do? Good, go.
Uncle, you are doing.
Uncle.
Let's be quick on that, please.
Uncle. Uncle.
Vraiment continue.
Have you written them down?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you said shape, raise up your hand. If you wrote shape, raise up your hand as something they have in common. If you said shape, raise up your hand. That's fine. Jeffrey can leave now. That's absolutely fine. Please kindly make sure he watches the video of the lesson. He knows where, and he should not wait until the deadline before he does his assignment. He will not get any extension this week, unfortunately, if that happens. Very good. Those of you that wrote shape, give yourself a T. Thank you very much for all you do, sir. Right. If you wrote shading, raise up your hand. What did you write? Okay, that's fine. If you wrote shading, raise up your hand. Very good. Put on your hand. Yes. Come, wait. Come. Huh? Where's your manners? Okay, yes, you can. Oh, the video is always where we upload them to, sir. So if he checks tomorrow morning, the video will already be there in the same place. He knows where. The link was meant to have been bookmarked ages ago, but the link is also on Google Classroom, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right, let's move on, guys. How many of you wrote number? You wrote number. Raise up your hand. Huh? Stop playing with the neck of your shirt. You're going to stretch it. It's not a toy. Resting position means resting position, yes? Right? Yeah, always take your bottle out of your bag. Otherwise, you will leak. And put it to the side. It's because the bag is bent. That's why the bottle leaks. All right, let's move on. When you said number, what do you mean by number? Well, you said the number of shapes are changing. Is that what they have in common? Is it series? Is it a sequence, guys? No, it's not a sequence. So because it's not a sequence, you cannot just say that. But if you chose number, then you get an extra tick for me. And why? Because they have, the arrows only have one head. The arrows only have one head. It's not the number of arrows, but each arrow, you see why I said that they, if you look at the first one, it only has one arrow. So wait, listen first. If you look at the first one, it only has one, what is it?
Do we get shading and shape? So do we get two?
Yes. But now listen. Because one thing about you, Zoe, is when you raise up your hand, you stop using your ears. When you look at the first one, you realize it only has one, what? Arrow. Yes or no? When you look at the second one, it has two arrows. That's not common for number. Do you get what I'm saying now? Right? And we're not here to say, oh, the next one is going to have three arrows. No, it is not what? It is not a sequence, is it? No. Do you get where I'm coming from? So what does that tell us? We can then look. Oh, the first one has one what? One head. Yes, no, that's why it's unique. How about the second one now? Each one of the arrow only has what? One head. Do you get what I'm saying now? Yes. Good. Naomi, yes, what is it?
Couldn't it also be number for this number of points on the triangle at the end, the head?
Well, that's the head. Well, you could say that as well. Yeah, you could say that as well.
Or
You can say that as well. So,
size.
size. Did you say size?
No, sides. SIDES.
But we don't have sides. Okay, you mean number of sides of the triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you could say that as well. You could say that as well. All right. So in that case, can the answer be A?
No.
For A has the
No.
same shading, but it does not follow all the other rules. Can it be B?
No.
Even though it has arrows, and the arrows have one head, but does not have the same shading for the line. Can it be C?
No.
If you believe it can be C, raise up your hand. No. Why? Because he has how many heads? 2. Can it be D?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if you think no, raise up your hand, please. Raise the eye above your head, please. Okay, why do you think no? 3 what? So is number of arrows what they had in common, Mariah? So why are you using that to say it can be D? Follow the rules. We said each arrow has one head. Yeah? We said what they have in common is they are all shaded black. Does D satisfy those two? Do you see what I'm saying now? It is not 1, 2, 3. It is not, oh, this one has 1, this one has 2, so it couldn't be 3. No. Follow the rule that they have in common. What about E? Can the answer be E, Isaac?
No.
Why not?
Because the shading of the point of the arrow.
Yeah, because one of them does not have, you see, one of them has a rhombus or maybe a diamond at the top. Well, a stop sign, someone told me last week, and this one, the arrow is different. So it couldn't be. That means Eden Grace, do us the honors. It will be D. Thank you very much. Does this make sense to everyone?
Yes, Uncle.
Good. Any questions, please? Ask your questions now, if you have any questions. Questions, please. Yes, Mariah. You look for the one that follow the rule most. That's why they say most line. Does that make sense to you? It can be 2 that follows it exactly the same way. Cannot. Have you ever had any non-verbal reasoning that you have 2 answers? Exactly. Do you understand, guys?
Yes, Uncle.
All right. Good. Any other question, please, before we move on? Yes, it in Grace. I'm waiting for signal from Jupiter to answer that one. Any other question about how to do it? That's what I'm asking. Okay, if there are no other questions about how to do it, then we're gonna do the next one by ourselves, and that's gonna be number 1. You have 1 minute, 30 seconds. Your 1 minute, 30 seconds starts now. Yes. Double check, make sure you write the rules. Did you write the rules? Good. Write the rules, please. Without the rules, you get 0. No rules, no mark. Where there is rule, there is mark. And double check your answer, please. Double check, triple check. Make sure you actually follow the rule. Because it will be really, really disappointing if you get it wrong simply because you didn't pay attention. When you could have got it right by actually looking properly. 15 seconds to go. Five seconds to go. Stop, everyone. Let's look at it together. Let's look at it together, shall we? I want everyone to pay attention, please, and pay close attention, please. Yeah. What we got? These two shapes. Don't forget, the tray on the outside is not part of the shapes, okay? So if you look at this one and you look at this one, I want everyone to just listen, please, while I explain, okay? If you look at those two, you realize that this one is a circle. Well, there's a circle inside. This one is a pentagon, but we don't have pentagon. Okay, we have pentagon on the outside. Yeah, and this one is a triangle, but we don't have triangle. So it's not like they have the same shape in common. But let's look at this. You realize that the outside is what? Thick. The inside is what? Broken. Or the middle is broken. And the final one also is what? Is continuous line. Yes or no? And what is that rule? What is that rule I'm asking you? Thank you. So let's look again. What are these one? The outside is what? Thick. The inside is what?
Broken.
And the what? The middle is what?
Continuous line.
So that means we can say that what they have in common is what? Shading. All right. Also, we can see that they have how many shapes? 1, 2, 3. So we could also say that they have what? Number in common. So if you have shading as your rule, give yourself a tick. If you have number as your rule, give yourself a tick. Another tick. Now, someone will say size. Size, in this case, well, I will give you if you say size, but no exactly. The reason why I said no exactly is if you really think about it, guys, if you really, really think about it, size is not really size is not really an option here. Why do I say size is not really an option here? Because it's not the same shape. But I understand why someone might say size. You might say you have a big shape outside, you have a what? A small shape in the middle, and what? A tiny shape in the center. Makes sense, yeah?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yes, I'm.
Another type of position, yes, you're right. So we could actually say size, or we could also say what? Position. Yes, Zoe?
Couldn't symmetry be one?
Mm,
Because they both have a vertical line of
they
symmetry.
both have a vertical line of symmetry. You're right about that. We could say symmetry is one as well. We could say symmetry is one as well. Yes, you're right. They both have vertical line of symmetry. Yes. Reflection as well. Very good. So if you wrote those rules, you can give yourself ticks. Yes, Naomi?
Do we have to have size?
Did I say you have to have? Was that what I said, Naomi? No. He said,
No.
if you have it, give yourself a tip. Why did you not
Okay.
say you have to have it? Okay? Yeah? Good. All right.
Yeah.
So, based on those rules that we've written down, does A follow the shading rule?
No.
What about B? Does it follow the shading
No.
rule?
No.
What about C? Does it follow the shading rule?
No.
What about how about D? Does it follow the shading rule?
No.
What about E? Does it follow the shading rule?
Yeah.
No.
Who said no?
I said
Yes.
Okay, so the answer is what? E. Mark it for yourself, please. Is it hard? If you follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you find yourself in dancing zeros. And dancing zeros from the same thing. Yes. With the rules. If you eliminate the wrong, what you're supposed to choose as the answer, because you didn't apply the rule, you will get dancing zero still. Nobody's asking you to use what we are doing when we are checking is also elimination. So that's not just elimination, or elimination with the rule. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yes, you can quickly go to the toilet, but we're moving on to the next question, so be quick. Don't forget to flush. Don't forget to clean your hands as well. All right, very good. Yes. You see now? Yeah, because we're not even checking what changes, are we? You're just checking what stays the same, and that's it. And then you use that bash, bosh, bush. You have the answer. Can you imagine? Easy maths. Yes, come, Eden Grace. I'm not going to tell you. All right. I want everyone to look at this next question. Look at this next question. Quickly, let's walk through this next question. Again, the same step, right? The rules that they have in common.
Okay.
Right, the rules that they have in common. Quick. We haven't got forever, please. We'll start time. Okay. What is it doing?
I'm done.
Okay, then sit down and wait. Are we done?
Yes.
Stop putting your hand in your mouth, please. It's not a toy. And when you keep doing that, you keep affecting your teeth. You will not want to see your hand in your mouth again. Are you a baby? All right. let's move on, guys. So, what do these have in common? Let's look and find what these have in common. Down your hands, please. To be honest with you, if we are comparing this one and this one, if we are comparing them, the fact is we can say that they don't really have anything in common apart from the number of shading. Am I making sense to you? Yeah? Hello? Am I making sense, everyone?
Yes.
But if you look at
Yeah.
this, I want to use this to explain something. Look at that. What can you notice about that? Just that, Zoe. Just that one.
They're the set. All of them have the same shape.
You see what I'm saying now? That is when that is like the analogy of when I was comparing myself to Jojo. Am I making sense to you? Hey, I have everything unique to me. Yeah? Jojo has everything unique to him. Am I making sense to you? But the fact that I am unique and he is unique make us what? Different, but also makes us similar. Do you understand, guys?
Yes, Uncle.
Sorry, guys, 1 minute. Look at that guy as well. You realize that they all have the same wall? They all have the same shape, yes or no?
Yes, Uncle.
Does that make sense? What is it? Do you have a question?
Yes. Wouldn't a size be one?
And they all have, each one of them have same what? Size. Am I making sense to you? So the size of this one and the size of this one, we cannot compare that, can we? No. So you see what I meant about what they have in common now. That sometimes when you're comparing the two, you cannot really quite compare the two, but you're looking at what everything inside one plate has in common and use that rule for what the second plate also has in
Common.
Does that make sense to you? Does this make sense, guys?
Yes, Uncle.
Yes, Uncle.
Yes, Uncle.
No. I know what you're thinking about position that you see them in the corners. Does that make sense? Well, fine, but not exactly. No, exactly, but no, exactly. But yeah, if you have position, so if you have number of shading, if we are comparing the two, we can say they have two black, one gray, one white. Yes or no? Are you with me? Two black, one gray, one white. Mhm. Shading. Well, I would say, yeah, shading. I would say number, shading. Yeah. And I would say shape. Shape means each. You see, I put each in front of shape so that I know that I'm not saying that the shape that we have in the first one is the same shape that we have in the second one. It is not the same shape. It means that the first one only has the same shape and the second one only have what? The same shape. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Isaac, please focus. Focus, please. So, can the answer be A, guys? What about B? Can the answer be B?
No way.
No, because it does not satisfy the number of shading. Can the answer be C?
No way.
Even though C satisfies shading, yes or no? But it does not satisfy the shape that is meant to be the same shape. Does that make sense to everybody? Can the answer be D?
No.
And the answer be E?
No.
No.
So that means the answer is wrong. Hey, mark it for yourself, please, if you got the answer right. You didn't write your answer. Well, you say you finished. What was you paying attention, Joshua? Stand up and remain standing. Yeah. No, you don't need to. Just watch the video back. Does that make sense? Because it won't make sense to you if you actually look at your notebook. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah. Good. Naomi, yes?
What if you had for size each? Because in each of them, the shapes are the same size.
You mean you wrote the rule size?
Because they're the same shapes.
Do you mean you wrote
Yeah,
size
each.
as a rule? Do you mean if you
Yeah,
wrote
like for
size as a
because
rule? Naomi, can you hear me?
Pardon?
I said,
Yes.
I mean, if you wrote size as a rule, yes, you can mark it for yourself because yes, it's the same shape and the same size for each of the shape that we have inside one block as well. You can give yourself a tick. Does that make sense? Yes, Mariah? Yes, you can go to the toilet. Is this clear to everyone, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes, Dad.
All right. On that note, we're going to quickly take another 8 minutes break. This break is for you to eat. Those of you at home, if you want to use the toilet, you can use the toilet. But please, no jumping around. Thank you very much. Enjoy your break. I will see you back at exactly 11:09. So, I'm going to do number 3 for a reason. If we look, some people will say, oh, this one has 3 shapes. Yes, no? This one has 3 shapes. That is the one I'm going to select. Resting position, everyone, please. Resting position. Naomi, your ears are working. Resting position. Someone will say, oh, this one has 3 shapes. Yes. This one has 3 shapes. Yeah. Oh, so it could be this one, 3 shapes. This one, 4 shapes. No. This one, 4 shapes. No. This one, 4 shapes. No. And this one has 3 shapes. So which is going to be the answer? I don't know. I'm not sure. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What? You just found yourself in dancing zero. You see, by the time you check like that and you realize you still have 2 answers that follow that rule that you chose, that means it couldn't be that rule that you're gonna use to choose the answer. Does this make sense to everybody? Because sometimes there are some
Yes,
things,
Uncle.
I said I'm gonna do this myself. There are some things that are really obvious to us. We can see that they both have to be shapes. Am I making sense to you? That's what they have in common. But unfortunately, listen, Murayo.
Yes.
When I finish explaining, then you can ask whatever you want to ask. Most of you that love to raise up your hand when I'm speaking or explaining stuff, what I realize is you raise up your hand and then you don't hear what I'm saying. And later you say you don't understand. How will you understand when you're not paying attention? When you look at some things that are obvious and you think those are the things that you have in common and that's what you're going to use to choose your answer, be careful. Be careful because of one thing. And what is that? To make sure that unfortunately you do not fall into what? Into the temptation of, okay, yes, they have this in common, but yes, they have that in common, but. So be careful, be careful, be careful. It didn't say 2 most like, 3 most like, 1 most like. That's what they're asking you for. Yes or no? And you cannot what? Pick by what? And say, oh, this one has triangle, but this one does not have triangle, so it's gonna be E. No, that's wrong. Yes, Mariah. Now you can speak. You raised the hand.
They both have like a square.
But does this one have square? Does this one always have square? You say what they have in common, Mariah. Does this one have all squares as well?
No, I mean like square here on both sides.
Or there's a square in this one. But do they have the same number of square? Does it mean if it doesn't have square, it would not be the same? No, it's wrong, Mariah. That's not the point. That's what I'm saying. If you look at this one has square, but how many square does he have? 1 square. This one has square. How many square does he have? 3 square. Can you say, oh, it's the same shape? No. No, if it's exactly the same shape, that's when you can use that shape. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Don't forget, it has to be the whole rule. And you have to find the exact rule that it is. And the exact rule that it is number. Yes?
Yeah.
And what do we mean by that? Let's look at this shape. The triangle has how many sides? 3 sides.
3.
The square has how many sides?
4.
Mariah, you can use your mouth. 4. And the pentagon has how many sides?
5.
No, 5.
Are you looking at what we have on the screen, or you're looking elsewhere? Because if I catch you not paying attention, you're in trouble. 5. What about this one? 4, 4, 4. Let's add those numbers together. 3 plus 4 plus 5, that gives me what? 12. 4 plus 4 plus 4, that gives me what?
12.
So that means wherever shape we're gonna pick must have how many sides in total?
4, 12.
Does that make sense to you? You see why I said you have to look what? Deep. That's why the answer, let's check. This one has 5 plus 5 plus 3. How about, which makes what? 13. How about this one? 3, 3, 3 plus 3, which makes what? 12.
12.
How about this one? 5 plus 3 plus 3. Nathaniel, is your mouth working? Now, Fadila, is your mouth working? Naraya, is your mouth working? We are doing this together, so I need responses from you. Open your mouth. Plus what?
5.
Plus 4. 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5, which makes what? 15. This one has what? How many sides does a circle have? 0 plus 5 plus 6 plus 3. That makes how many?
14.
This has what? 6 plus 6 plus 4, which makes what? 16. So the answer will be what? B. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
What does not make sense to you, Zoe?
I don't really understand like the process, like of how you found the
Okay. So if you look at the two and you're trying to find what they have in common and you couldn't see what they have in common, look at the number of sides of each of them. So what does this one have? 3 and what? 4 and what? 5. 3 plus 4 plus 5 will give you what? 12. Because when we talk about number does not necessarily mean what? The number of shapes that you have there. It could be the total number of sides, which is what we used there. And what about this one? How many? What's the total number of sides he has as well?
12.
So we can say, what does he have in common? Number, which is what? Total number of sides of the shapes. Am I making sense to you? Is that clear to you guys?
Yes, Uncle.
Does this make sense, guys?
Yes,
All right. So that's what we've got. So that means wherever we're going to choose must also have a total number of what? 12. Do you understand now, Zoe? Good. All right, yes, Neraya? Open your mouth, Neraya. Otherwise, I will move on. Okay. You see, when we used, I explained that initially, Neraya, and I'm going to explain again. If we said, oh, it's just 3 shapes, right? This one has 3 shapes. This one has 3 shapes. Yeah. That way we can say this one is not an answer. This one is not an answer. This one is not an answer. Am I making sense to you, yeah, Neraya? But then do we not end up with 2 that has 3 shapes? So can you see that that does not eliminate, but that does not help us to choose the answer? Do you understand where I'm coming from? So number of shapes will not be the rule that we are using because number of shapes only got us into micro division. Do you understand now? Remember to always avoid micro division. And for those that don't know micro division is the rule that gives you or helps you eliminate many and leaves you with like 2 or 3 out of the options. Am I making sense to you? Do you get where I'm coming from? Yes. So don't ever use a rule of micro division to select your final answer. No, rule of micro division may maybe sometimes help you, but it is not what helps you to choose the answer. That is why we cannot say choosing or using the number of shapes will be the right rule here. It wouldn't be the right rule. You understand? Is that clear to you? Very good. Yes. Neraya F, you raised up your hand earlier.
Are we gonna do book check?
What is it?
Are we gonna do book check today?
Oh yes, it will. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. Yes, Naomi.
Could you also have shading because they gave the same shading?
Well, shading does not let us. Yeah, shading could be the same, but well, you're right. But shading does not help us to choose the answer because all of them, absolutely all the options, have the same shading as well. Does that make sense? Naomi,
Yeah.
does that make sense? Good. Is your hand
Yes,
still up?
Uncle.
Because it looks frozen on my screen. Is your hand still up, Naomi?
No, it keeps on happening even when you tell me to do a resting position.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Yes.
And it keeps yeah. I think it's internet.
Yeah, that's fine. Eden Grace, yes, go on. Because you already said the answer to one, my love. It will have to be someone else this time. But thank you for offering. Yeah. It's away. We're gonna do the rules. Yeah, you will do one of the rules, but we're gonna do the rules together. Okay, is that clear? Sure. All right. So if you got B, mark it for yourself. If you didn't get B, please put a dot for number 3. For number 3. All right, let's move on to number 4 quickly before we go on to the next type of questions that we need to do. Are we ready, guys? All right. So let's look at number 4. We're looking at these and this. Question is, what do they have in common? I'm going to call Nathaniel to tell me one of the rules they have in common, then Isaac, then Zoe.
And what they have in common?
One of the rules. Nathaniel, don't forget one. Yeah.
One of the rules is that they're the same shape throughout.
Shape. If you look at this one, you realize that they all were circles, and these one are all were squares or diamonds. Yes or no? Does that make sense to you? Circle and square, they don't have anything in common, do they? But we can still say that the rule, one of the rule is shape, as Nathaniel has told us. Thank you very much, Nathaniel. Yes, the next person is Isaac.
The next rule is shading.
Shading.
Because it goes white, black.
Good. Shading. Yes. White, black, white. Yes, you're right, Zoe. You next.
Number.
Number. Yes. Because how many?
Black ones and 3 white ones.
2 black ones and 3 white ones, which make what? Which make 5 shapes. Does that make sense? So we have what? 2 black, 3 whites. Very good. Which is shade. Number. Good. All right. Jojo.
Can you also have position because of the way they're laid out? Because there's the bigger one at the back and then there's the smaller one at the front.
Absolutely, my love. You see, in that case, you could say position. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Is that clear to you? And also, he said smaller and bigger. Which rule will that be, Tehara? Size. Guys, you see when we can use size and when we can use position. Size means the size of the same what? Shape. Position means how things. Trisha, focus. Position will be how things are placed. Is this clear to everyone, please?
Yes, Uncle.
Does this make sense to you?
Yes, Uncle.
So let's move on. Nathaniel, the answer is not E. So let's look together. So we have position and size. Okay. So can the answer be A, guys? I'm asking the whole class.
No.
No.
Nathaniel, what is it?
That was for the question before.
Okay, but you know that the answer for that one is not E, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the answer be B. I'm asking the whole class.
No.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Yes. Someone said yes. Don't be shy. We are here to learn. Can the answer be C?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dot, yeah. Can the answer be D?
No.
How about E?
No.
No.
Because E is because he has different shapes automatically. Triangle, circle. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it does not follow. You see why I said what follows the rule most? Yeah? Yes, Mariah.
It's not like the big one then. That one's just.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this clear? Yes.
right, but the small one's different because it's a bit stretched.
It's not. It's just a bigger shape. The smaller one is small. You know, the big shape is at the back, and you can't see everything because something has blocked it, isn't it?
Oh,
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Sometimes you can't see the shape at the back because the ones on the front has blocked it. Naraya, focus. Does that make sense? Yeah. Very good. So that makes the answer to be what? To be C. Yes, Josette.
but I know the answer is C.
Mhm.
The white shape.
The black shape at the front. Does that make sense to you? That's another thing that you should pay attention to. So that's why the position also matters. Brilliant. Yes, last. For the black one, very good. You see why we always say every little detail?
Matters.
Matters.
Very good. All right, write your score out of 4, please. The question will say, for example, which shape is most similar? Yeah, you see, they are not saying most like. Am I making sense to you? They are not saying like shape. They said most what? Similar. But it's still the same what? Same thing, right? It's most similar to the shapes in the group on the left. So again, what do we need to find? What stays the same? Ones are easy because you're only looking at the shapes that are inside a group. But guess what? Sometimes they will give you this group and they will give you another one next to it again, which is like what we have just done. All right, so let's look at these shapes. You realize what do they have in common? They all have the same shading because they have the same outline, and they all have the same what? The same shape. Yes or no? But do you know the mistake some people make? They will be like, oh, this one is 1, 1, 1. So it must have maybe one circle. But no, do they all have just one circle? No. Does that make sense to you, Zoe? Does that make sense to you, Joseph? Does that make sense to you, Jojo? So that means we are looking for something that has what? That has what? Circle. Because the rule that they have in common is what? Shape. Yes or no? The only one that satisfies that is what? B. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys?
No.
Yes. Yes, Uncle.
This one? Is that a circle, Zoe? What's that? What shape is that? Good. Is that a circle? So does that satisfy it? So please think and pay attention. I need you to pay attention, not guessing, not playing about. Pay attention. Is that clear to everyone, please?
Yes, Uncle.
Or is over and circle the same thing? All right, let's look at number 24, please, quickly, everyone. What do they all have in common? What do they have in common? Is it shading? No. They have the same what? Shape, and we can say the shape are a reflection. Does that make sense? What we have on the left or what we have at the top and bottom. Does that make sense to you? So I want you to write the answer for number 24 in your note. I already helped you find what you have in common. What is it, Moriah? What? Okay, number as well. Very good. So write your answer down in your note. Yes, Moriah? Huh? Number 1, yeah, because it's a different type. Number 1, yes. All right. So I'm looking for someone who hasn't spoken. Tricia, what do you think the answer will be? The answer will be E. Raise up your hand if you chose E. Rest in position when you're not writing, please. Yeah. Mark it for yourself, please, everyone. The answer is E. So I'm going to let you do number 25 and 26 by yourself. Number 25 and 26 by yourself, and we will round up. Yeah. 25 and 26, let's be quick, guys. Do 25 and 26. Don't forget, think about what they have in common. Yeah, look at what the shapes they have in common. You will see what they all have in common. You don't need to write what they have in common. Just, if you finish, double check your work, please. Yeah, double check your work. Think about what they have in common, and once you've written your answer, cover it up. It doesn't steal it away. Once you've written your answer, cover it up so that someone else doesn't look at it. Does that make sense to you? All right. Raise up your hand if you finish, please. Raise up your hand if you finish. 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 Those that say my singing is not good in your face. I didn't mention anybody's name, but in your face. All right. So tell me, please, Neraya F, what do you think the answer for number 25 is?
I think that I haven't actually worked that out, that one out yet. I only worked out 26.
Okay. Quickly work it out. Quickly work it out. Let's give out 30 seconds. Let's give out 30 seconds. We only have 30 seconds. Count down, my love. Okay, I'm going to ask you again. Raise up your hand if you have finished. Jojo, you haven't finished yet.
Yeah, I'm just...
Okay, be quick, be quick, be quick. Right, that's it. That's it. That's it. Have you worked it out now, Neraya?
But I think the answer is E.
You think the answer is E? Raise up your hand if you agree with that the answer is E. Yes, the answer is E. Because if you look at all of them, they have what? Striped and dotted. The striped side and the dotted side is collected by a line. Not inside one another, no overlapping, not two stripes. Does that make sense to you? Stripe and dotted. The answer is E. Very well. Yes, good. All right, let's go on. Number 26, Fadila.
I got the answer D.
You got the answer D. Why do you think the answer is D, Fadila?
Because for what is the same, I put a number. Because
Number, yes.
you can see that all of the shape, they have 4 corners,
All of the shape, they have four what? 4 extension.
4 number of sides.
Yeah.
And
So,
then I looked at the answer that could be the possibilities that could be the answer, and I was looking at which ones had 4 sides, and that's how I got.
sorry, darling. It's a student in class that is being very, very naughty. Is that your board? Remain standing. You're right, my love. The answer is D, because that's the only one that has what? 4 protrusion from what? Outward. Yes or no? Yeah. Number A has 5, B has what? 6, C has 3, and E has what? 3 as well. D has what? 4. Does that make sense, everybody? That's it. Mark it for yourself, please. And send me your score out of 2. Write your score out of 2. This is just 2. Read the first one together. Yeah. Your score out of 2. Please follow the instruction. Okay. Those of you at home, I'm going to ask you to raise up your notes. Those of you at home, I'm going to ask you to raise up your notes all at once. Raise up your notes all at once, please. Raise up your notes. Nathaniel, are you using your ears or your ears are under your bum side? Raise up your notes. That's what I just said. Now open and show me what you've written today. Naomi, you can put yours down. Well done, Naomi.
To another page.
Oh, that's good. Well done. Well done. Naomi, you can put yours down. Naraya F, let me see the second page. Yes, you can put yours down, Naraya F. Thank you very much. Isaac, yes, you can put yours down. Fadila, I didn't see yours. And he asked you to put it down. Good, you can put that down. Nathaniel, you can put yours down as well. Thank you very much. Well done, everybody. Those of you in class have seen your notes. Well done. Well